Nice. Here we go.
All right, and welcome, folks, to This Week on DNG Radio, the weekly radio call-in show produced by the Diversity Networking Group. I'm your host, Sherman Ray, and today, man, we are in studio. We've got some great things we're going to talk about. We've got the old webcam fired up, and I've got all my stuff in front of me here, folks. I'm really excited about today in particular because we've got some stuff that I think will be interesting to you. And I know when it happened to me, it was like the most incredible thing. So let's start off with something very interesting. I want to tell you a little bit about my grandkids real quick. Hey, for those of you who know me, you know I've got grandkids. I've got 9 grandkids. And my grandkids are my pride and joy. They're fun, they're exciting, they're smart. But yesterday I was meeting with my grandkids, and one of my grandkids, his name is Isaiah, and Isaiah is 7 years of age. And Isaiah says out of the blue, he says, "George Bush sucks." And I went, uh-oh, George, why would he ever say George Bush sucks? And so we started to talk a little bit, and he started telling me that Democrats rock and Republicans suck. And I'm thinking, where did you hear this from, that Democrats? So you think it was at school? So a million things is at school, but I tend to think that it was probably from his grandpa, his other grandpa. So I start talking to him, and I say, hey, let's talk a little bit about the difference between Democrats and Republicans. And I come from a psychologist background, okay? And so I tend to not tell people what to do. I let them work it out for themselves. So I sit down and I talk with him, and I say, okay, so what's so sucky about George Bush? Okay, and so he starts telling me Halliburton and everything else, and I'm going, oh, so you know all about Halliburton. Let's talk about some issues that Republicans believe in, and some that liberals or Democrats believe in. So, and I'll tell you, folks, this is an interesting thing because kids, as they're growing up, they will learn a lot of things. They'll learn a lot of things about life from kids at school, but by and large, they learn most of their stuff, that sticks with them from the people they live with. And I wanted to see how much he had really learned from his grandpa, who he lives with most of the time. So anyways, I asked him, I said, hey, so should a woman have the right to have an abortion? And my grandson, now he's 7 years of age, he says no. I said, no? Why shouldn't she have a right to have an abortion? And he says, well, because it's not right, it's not fair. It's not fair to the baby. Why should she have I said, well, wait a minute. It's not convenient for the mom. Shouldn't we just let her, He goes, no, she ought to give it to an abortion clinic to an adoption agency and adopt the baby out. I go, oh, okay, well, I guess that's a good way of doing it. I said, so you wouldn't allow a woman to have an abortion? He goes, nope, wouldn't happen. Not going to happen. It's not fair. I said, okay, well, now let's talk about the finances, because he was saying that, Halliburton, and he was talking about finances and stuff like that. Oh, excuse me, my other granddaughter, my granddaughter, her name's Kaya, she says something about she was saying, I don't know how she got this, but she said something very interesting. She said that rich people should not get a $50,000 tax cut. And I go, really? I said, they get a $50,000 tax cut? And I'm thinking, now my daughter Kai is 10 years of age. But once again, this is more like something that as an adult would hear, but so she started bringing this up. And so we got onto the subject of finances, and I asked my grandson Isaiah again. I said, hey, Isaiah, if you work 8 hours a day and you earned $100, should I, as the government, be able to take your money from you? And he said, of course, no, this is my money. I want to buy candy with it or tennis shoes. He's a 7-year-old kid. And so we went line by line down the line about issues that divide Democrats and Republicans. And come to find out, guess what my grandkids ended up becoming? That's right, right-wing, Tea Party, flag-waving conservatives. And of course, I never told them that that's what they were, that's what they'd be labeled, but every time I asked them questions about what they believe in, they answered that they were conservatives. and everything that they saw was conservative. Now, why do I say this? Okay, well, the reason why I say all that is because it's very interesting how if a 7 to 10-year-old kid can come up with these ideas on their own about what is right and what's wrong and what makes sense, then why do adults have such a hard time with this? I'm not advocating anybody become one thing or the other, but what I am saying is, hey, sit down and just think about this, folks. We are this week on DNG Radio is really all about business and everything else, but we also kind of delve into a little political thing, because right now you've got a choice. Right now you've got a political, you've got a race for the presidency of the United States. Excuse me. And on one side, you've got a president who wants to do one thing, where he wants a larger government, and he wants to tax people who earn a lot of money, and he wants to do all these other things, and a lot of things that people don't even know about. And then we've got his challenger, Mitt Romney, who wants to reduce the size of government, be pro-business, allow people to do the things that they normally do, as far as moving forward with the business of business in America. And now you've got a choice to make. So put it this way, my grandkids made up their mind for themselves. And so adults, you got to make up your mind for yourself. Put it this way, don't listen to your mom and dad. Don't listen to them at all. Come in out of the rain, quit drinking all the Kool-Aid. Think about this for a minute. Does it make sense? Does one side make more sense than the other? Okay, and then you can make up your mind for yourself. Okay, anyways, I just want to talk about that for just a second. There's some interesting things in the news this week that I think everybody really should kind of focus on. And there was an article this week, and it was talking about oil production being up in America. I don't know if you heard about this yet, but this was interesting. Now, many of you know that in the last couple of years, oil production has been kind of stilted and stymied by the present administration. And what they've been basically doing is there are leaseholds on government land that the permits have been actually cut way, way back, so that because the president wants to go green energy, and there's nothing wrong with that. Okay? I mean, I agree with him. To tell you the truth, I agree that we should probably go more green energy and solar and any other way rather than using fossil fuels. But the truth be known that I also believe in market forces being able to dictate how those things come about. Now, once again, I want to preface this by saying I agree with the president in that we should probably go green energy, okay? But the way he's going about it is probably wrong. And by forcing people to do things, it's probably just not going to happen. For those of you who are just tuning in right now, this is This Week on DNG Radio. I'm your host, Sherman Ray, and we're just talking a little bit about some of the things that are going on in the news this week. And I think if you've been around long enough, you know my heart that some of these things are just are going to impact you in the coming years. And so it's really probably a great idea for you to really not just think about what's going on right now, but really put some action to your thoughts and make a clear and conscious decision this voting season about who you're going to vote for. Once again, we're talking about the oil production being up in the United States. Well, what they're trying to say is basically the technology that is available or has been being perfected by the oil manufacturers or by the oil folks, that they look at the next, I think it's in the next 10 years or the next 20 years, that we are going to actually be outproducing Saudi Arabia in the amount of oil that we produce. I don't know if you heard this, but this is very interesting. So despite all of the efforts by the administration to diminish the oil production in the United States, guess what happened? That's right, the manufacturers found out a way to get the oil out of the ground. They've been talking about this for a long time, that we have more oil under the United States, that we've got more oil in our, in not only in reserves, but actually in the ground than in any other place on the globe. And that's incredible for us. So my kids were asking me, they go, well, Dad, does that mean that oil, that we're going to be paying less for gas? Well, conceivably, but you never know. Interesting thing about it is you can't bet against the United States, because we will, as entrepreneurs, figure out a way of making things happen. Hey, in the next segment, what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit more about local news, about some things that are going on, about social networking and some of the casinos that are moving forward with some of the great media ways of getting marketing out there. This has been Sherman Ray, and this is This Week on DNG Radio. I'll be back in just a couple of minutes, folks. Stick around. We'll be right back. Saturday. Whatever he was talking about, I don't know what he was talking about. Just talking about something. All right, folks, and welcome back to This Week on DNG Radio. I'm your host, Sherman Ray. And in the last segment, we talked a little bit about some of the oil prices that are going up, and also about my grandkids. I hope you guys enjoyed the story with my grandkids. As a matter of fact, Milliam was asking me, he said, hey, does everybody know that you're a conservative? And that you've got this, this thought, And I go, well, you know what, guys? We at the Diversity Networking Group, we are a diverse group of people, and not all of us are Republicans. Not all of us are Democrats. I'm a conservative. I am, and I have no shame in telling everybody I'm a conservative. But above all of that, I'm an independent business owner. And as an independent business owner, I've got to look and see what the sign of the times are, what's going on, and make my decisions on that. As a matter of fact, I believe the president of Hewlett Packard, or it was Kraft Foods, was talking about, they're saying, well, with the current administration, does that make you change what you're doing? And she said something very interesting. She said, no, it doesn't make me change what I'm doing. I'm a global business owner. I have to position my business to take advantage of whatever's going on, and that's really what we're doing also here. Hey, we want to let you know about an offering that we just came up with, and it's a new program that we're working on. It's called the Edge Training, and the Edge Training is really all about equipping business owners with more stuff that they can use to get the edge on the competition. So what are we going to be doing in the Edge? We're actually going to be talking a lot about sales and marketing, about leadership training. As a matter of fact, during the current session right now, we're talking all about being a public speaker and being able to speak out in public. I'll tell you, if you as a salesperson, if you cannot go out and convey and communicate what you believe your product does, then it's going to be kind of tough for you, even if you have the best of product. So that's what we're working on right now. We're working on being a better salesperson. As a matter of fact, we have those groups, or we have that training on Tuesday nights over at Desert Shores. And Desert Shores is up off of here in Las Vegas. It's locally here in Las Vegas. It's on 2620 Regatta Drive, Suite 101. And so we have that on Tuesday nights at 6:45. Once again, that's called the Edge Training. I'll put that graphic up there again for you. And as a matter of fact, last night we went through video training. So, and that was really entailed putting together a video and how it's laid out, how you're going to be able to let people know about your business or your product or whatever it is. And it was just an awesome time. For those of you who know Jace Souter, Jace has been on the show before here today. And so he was actually doing the Be a Better Speaker section. And so we'll be transitioning, excuse me, into more leadership stuff and sales training stuff in the probably at the beginning of the year. But we'll spend the remainder of the year really talking about becoming a better speaker, and that is just paramount. And it's funny because I've been a speaker for many years. I've been doing this for 15, 20 years now, and I learned some nuggets that were just amazing, and things that I take for granted that I do all the time. I never could put a word to it. I could never put it in a format. And so during the training, we were actually able to figure out what that was. Hey, let's get to some local news here. Local news here in Las Vegas. There's an article out of Vegas Inc. magazine, and it was talking about marketing and how the casinos and all the local people here are starting to really catch the wave on network marketing and or using social media. And they said Google recently found that the majority of consumers, 90%, use multiple screens to perform simple tasks online, such as booking a hotel or buying clothes. A person, for example, might see an ad for a car or television, look up reviews on a phone, price out the vehicle on an iPad, and then search for dealerships on a laptop. And so there's a guy named Jeremy, and I can't pronounce his last name. It's like Oyang, and he's the author of Web Strategies, and he's a blogger and an expert in online marketing. Says that companies are going to have to learn how to master all of these, whether you use social media, whether you use print, whether you use video, whether you use TVs. They're gonna actually have to master all of these things in order to get people in their doors. Now, it's interesting because we use, as a part of the Diversity Networking Group, generally we use Facebook for many things, but we've also got a website, which is an interactive website. So if you go to www.diversitynetworkinggroup, and that's just with one G, you will see our website. And our website is very interactive. So we use Facebook to drive people to our website where we can get them to join our group. And then we actually get them face to face, belly to belly, and we start talking to them about our businesses and stuff like that. And so this guy, Oyang, Jeremy Oyang, says that businesses are going to have to get on the bandwagon and start using all of these strategies. Now, I don't know if you noticed this, but a lot of companies are, these companies, these web-based companies, internet-based companies, are starting to pop up out of the woodwork as the, not years progress, but as the weeks progress. And now I have the advantage of that it's in the front of my mind where I'm always looking for businesses that are into social media because I live and breathe social media. But I'm noticing just a huge influx of these new companies. You know, people who want to do websites, people who want to do social marketing for you, social media marketing, Twitter experts. It's interesting, even if you, and we'll be doing this in our networking group starting tomorrow, where we're going to actually have a day where you can start following people on that day via, and we'll make it like Thursday follow days or whatever, where we're going to try to see how many people we can get to follow us on that day and see if it makes a big difference. And the reason why I say that is because companies are starting to do this. Over at, I think the Forum Shops, or maybe it's a Miracle Mile. Yeah, it's a Miracle Mile. And it says they've been employing this over at the Miracle Mile. They said in the first year of its Follow Friday program, and it's kind of like just getting people to follow you on Twitter, they said the Miracle Mile increased its traffic by almost 18%. The mall now gets between 75 and 80,000 daily visitors, and that's just very cool. So using the technology, using some of the stuff that is actually in the marketplace right now is paramount for you as a business owner. You've got to begin to use Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. Not only that, but you've got to begin to use, gosh, there's three of the TripAdvisor. I guess TripAdvisor is another one that I've been hearing a lot about lately. But using those in Foursquare, and there's so many different social media platforms that you begin to use. Now, I say that as a lead into this. Many of you heard the story that I was telling, and maybe I told about last week. But my eldest daughter is now the general manager over at Lakeside Business Suites, and it's interesting that they've been courting me in the last number of weeks to become their marketing guy over there, because they understand that guys like me, guys who are in this industry, guys like you, Million, that we are guys that do a lot of things via the internet, and they want to know, hey, they want to know what we know. We've sent business owners over there. As a matter of fact, we sent another one over there yesterday, who are able to fill their suites. And so if you're a business owner and you're not taking advantage of Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn or YouTube, which is a big one, because it's free, folks, then you need to really take advantage of it. As a matter of fact, in the next segment, we're going to talk a little bit more about social media and how you really can take advantage of these things. We'll touch a little bit on it, but I really want to get back to some more local news about some things that are affecting Las Vegas. And also, we want to talk a little bit about some of the things that are going on with the Diversity Networking Group. And most notably, the EDGE training. Once again, we're going to go back to the EDGE training. It's going to be on Tuesday nights, 6:45 to about 8:30, over at the Lakeside Business Suites. So, folks, be sure that you're looking at your Facebook account, because you're going to hear a lot more about the EDGE training as the weeks and weeks go by, because we want you to be a part of it. Hey, this is Sherman Ray. This is This Week on DNG Radio, and we want to welcome you back in just a couple of minutes. So stick around, folks. We will be back in just Hey, and welcome back, folks, to This Week on DNG Radio. I'm your host, Sherman Ray. The webcam is all fired up, and for those of you who are watching me, I actually have a piece of candy here in my hand. But it gets a little drier. And we've been talking in the first couple of segments about, about oil and gas and everything else, my grandkids, and then I believe in the last segment we were really talking about the oil production being up, and really about social media. And let me go back to this subject of social media just a little bit. Over at the Lakes Business Suites, which is a great property, folks. I'm going to talk about them a lot because I really feel like that they are going to be something pretty big in my life coming up. Excuse me. They're really trying to get people over there. Now, if you've never been up to the Lakes Business Suites, you're really missing something. Imagine this, folks. You go to a really plush office, and then, with all the amenities, and you've got a secretary, you've got somebody to answer your phones and all that other stuff. Excuse me. You've got somebody to answer your phones for you. You've got computers, and all you do is walk in. It's almost like one of those Regency suites, isn't that called? Regent suites, whatever it is, where you can walk in and everything's taken care of you. All you have to do is bring in your material, your products. Excuse me, and they take care of everything else. But let's add to that you looking out over what is like a 2-mile long lake that is behind your facility. That is the difference. That is a major difference that you have with Lakeside Business Suites. I do a lot of my business up there, and now I've got people who, I've got another program that's up there, and we're just going to allude to it one more time, and it's called the EDGE training. And what we do is with the EDGE trainings, we bring together business owners who want to know more. They want to get the edge on their competition. And excuse me, sorry, I got a little bit of a frog in my throat here. But the EDGE training is all about getting more information into your head. We really believe at the Diversity Networking Group that if we get more education to you as a business owner, that you can find all the business that you want. I'm going to make just another plug for another thing that we're working on right now. And what that is the Diversity Networking Group is in just about another couple of weeks, we're going to be running in the Las Vegas Marathon. Really excited about this. It is a culmination of something that I've been wanting to do my entire life. And so we're doing that right now. We're training for that. Folks, I've already run 20 miles and backed off, and now I'm just kind of in a maintenance thing. So it's going to be great. We've got a lot of sponsors who are a part of it. If you would like to be a sponsor, I'm going to make this special for you right now. If you would like to be a sponsor for the Team Diversity Networking Group for the Las Vegas Marathon, we are going to put your logo on my jersey, and we'll give you a prominent spot. Okay, and this is just for the people who actually go on to and contact me today. If you've got to contact me today, because if you don't today, this offer will not extend till tomorrow. It'll just be today. If you do today, I'm going to, mostly everybody else for a logo is $35 for a logo. Today, and only today, if you go on to our site, or if you email me today, which is, and I'm going to give you the email address in just a second here, I'm going to reduce the price for your logo. Now, you've also got to get me the logo, and I've got to have payment like within a week. I'm going to bring the normal price from $35 down to $30 for you to get your logo on my shirt. Now, I've got a lot of people who are already on this already, who've already paid money to be on it, but you can take advantage of this, because right now what I'd like to do is I want to make sure that everybody, that we get money out to some special causes. And that is some of those special causes are Hope for Prisoners and Toys for Kids, and and I keep forgetting the last one. My wife knows this one, but we just picked up another resource center that we and I'll try to remember it in a second. So let me give you that web address, okay? That email address If you would like to be a sponsor, like I said, I'm going to say it one more time. If you'd like to be a sponsor for the Team Diversity Networking Group run in the Las Vegas Marathon, and you'd like to get your logo on my shirt for $30, it's only today. Folks, it's going to end today. Go to leadershipinactiononline@gmail.com and say, Sherman, I want to sponsor. I want my logo on your shirt. I'm going to do it one more time. leadershipinactiononline@gmail.com, and then just say, hey, Sherman, I want to sponsor you in the Las Vegas Marathon for $30 for my logo. Okay? Okay, once again. All right, let's get back to the show. Hey, we've been talking a little bit about social media and how social media has just exploded here in the Vegas Valley and how people are really using it all over the place. We've got one other company I want to talk about very briefly, and many of you know about this large developer here in town, and what the name of the development is called Tivoli Village. And Tivoli Village actually put together one Queensridge Place, which is like a two-story or two towers, 18 stories apiece of luxury condos. And you've seen these. These are not small ones. As a matter of fact, Linda Ray Designs, which is our company, actually has some drawings in their lobby for their people to check out. But they are actually they're expanding. Can you believe it? They're expanding in the Las Vegas Valley. Who would have ever thought that somebody else is going to expand? Now, this particular company, when they first started, they had two phases, or they were going to have one phase, and what they were going to do is they were going to move forward big time and just build this thing and make it all happen. Well, what happened is 2007 happened, the economy started crunching, everybody started retracting, and so they never stopped them. What they did is, instead of stopping, what they did is they just phased out their project. And so instead of having one big phase, they made it into two phases, but they never stopped building. And so now what they're going to do is they're going to implement phase two, and they're expected to have phase two done by like 2013. This is exciting, folks, because they are betting on Las Vegas. They're betting that Las Vegas is going to keep bouncing back. Our home prices, I don't know if you've been checking this, but our home prices have actually started creeping up a little bit, which is real cool, because I got property up there, and the reason why that we're not living in it is because the price went down so much, but we figured, gosh, we love the house. So they're banking on the fact that Vegas is going to come back with a vengeance. And so this article talks about how they are just moving forward with a vengeance on this. They're going to be adding in more shopping. And the second phase, if you can kind of imagine what Tivoli Village looks like right now, it's huge right now as it is. But they're going to add the rest of the construction to the north of the property, which is going to be very cool. And they're going to put like a circular drive in the place. And they're expecting to actually be, in their current phase right now, they're expected to get to like 85% occupancy, full occupancy, by the end of the year. And that's for their business suites, and I believe 75%, or one of the other, maybe it's switched back and forth, for their shopping. Now, they've got some high-end stuff over there. I mean, there's no doubt that they've got some high-end things that are going over there, but they're banking on the fact that people like it. That people want, that there is a certain segment of society, and they call it lifestyle shopping. Yes, it's lifestyle shopping, okay? And there, so which means that you got some bucks. You're there for a lifestyle. You're not going there for just a cup of coffee. You're going there for a latte, which is very cool. And so they're lifestyle shopping. So they're not worried about the shops at Summerlin, because the shops at Summerlin are going to be coming in also. And so they were asked. They said, "Hey, are you worried about the shops at Summerlin?" And let me see if I can find that part of that article. Okay, they said the shops at Summerlin, the mothball retail center 4 miles west of Tivoli, is back on track for construction. Now with an anchor tenant, Macy's going to be there. And they said, and the guy who they're interviewing here, his name is Patrick Dunn. He says, no, he said it's a different type of product. He says We're a mixed-use development with office space and different retail configurations. Also, we're not anchored, which means they don't have one store they have to worry about. Their place is a lifestyle place. It's very different. So they are banking on Las Vegas, and I know that you're banking on it too. If you're here watching on the webcam, you're banking on Vegas, and you're saying, I believe in Vegas. Hey, let me once again just kind of remind you of what's going on with the Diversity Networking Group. We do meet, we actually have 4 groups now. We have the Christian Business Connection, which meets on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And then we have the Diversity Networking Group that meets on Monday and on Thursdays. If you'd like more information on that, go to www.diversitynetworkinggroup.com and check on the calendar. Once again, that's www.diversitynetworkinggroup.com with just one G. Check on the calendar and you can find out all the things that are going on. You can find out about the Edge, which we are adding right now. The Edge is on Tuesday night, so you can see that on the calendar also. You can find out about the radio show this week on the. You can find out. Whoops. You can find out about all the things that are going on with the Diversity Networking Group just by going to our website, which once again is www.diversitynetworkinggroup.com, and that's just with one G. Hey folks, I just want to thank you for being a part of the show. Once again, if you would like to, and I just want to remind you one more time, if you would like to sponsor or be one of the sponsors for the run at the Las Vegas Marathon, this is only for today, folks. It is only for today, and it's going to be ending today. I'm going to end at about 6 o'clock, which means you've only got a few hours. If you would like to put your logo on my shirt as I run the 26.2 miles of the Las Vegas Rock and Roll Marathon, go to leadershipinactiononline@gmail.com and say, Sherman, I want to take advantage of it. I'll be proud to put you on my shirt. Hey, this has been Sherman Ray, and this has been This Week on DNG Radio. I want to welcome you back next week, folks. We'll be back at 10:30, and looking forward to seeing you. Tell your friends about the show, and we will see you next week. Peace, love, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Clear.